Good evening and welcome to City Pulse for what is the final episode of the season. After tonight, se acaba el cachondeo. So we're going to do our best to go out with a bang, and we're really excited about tonight's special guest, perhaps the specialist guest we've had on. Take that, teachers, specialist. The 21st Mayor of Gibraltar, Nicky Guerrero, and in true journalistic fashion, we will be asking the pressing questions, like how much does that chain of office actually weigh? It looks massive. We'll get to that, so looking forward to it. But for now, a very good evening to Paul, Heidi, Kenneth.
Hello.
Hello.
¿Cómo estamos? How's it going?
Yo bien.
Bittersweet, bitter, just sweet.
Un poquito penosa because it's sad. It's our last.
La verdad.
Yeah.
It's our last episode.
I'm tempted to just ignore the director and just keep on going until we run out of things to say tonight, basically.
Eso hoy en día.
So that it doesn't end.
Si los quedamos cortos siempre, hombre.
Once we start talking about traffic, yeah?
Traffic y todo lo que tú quieras.
Yo y Heidi hablamos con la perra anyway, so...
Da igual. But we can, vamos.
Jokes aside, there is a lot to get through. It's been a pretty busy week, and actually, I wanted to start with a feature from today's Gibraltar Chronicle, so a report on Spain's campaign against the illegal trade in narcotics has claimed the strait is increasingly vulnerable to drug smuggling, noting as many as 600 drugs launches in the strait last year. So this, of course, encompasses the area of Gibraltar too. It's been a forever problem.
Ya está preparado.
That is the issue. That is the
No,
issue.
but-
Tú acabas de decir, it's been a forever problem. Esta gente que han descubierto América ahora. Hello. Tenemos Marruecos ahí enfrente. One of the major producers of cannabis in Africa.
Yeah, the world
Vale,
leaders.
The
14
leaders.
kilómetros aquí. Y ahora de pronto han descubierto de que we are vulnerable to drugs.
No, increasingly vulnerable.
Increase.
No, lo que pasa es que perhaps what's happened is a reaction to the fact that the drug smugglers are becoming more sophisticated,
Yes.
more violent and more dangerous,
Yeah.
if you see what I mean. Porque this is, I think, a reaction to the fact that 2 Guardia Civil officers were killed.
Yeah, that's right,
No?
see.
Last
That's what we
week or the
read.
week before,
Something
algo
like
así. And
And
that's
it's not the
highlight-
first case of fatalities, and likely won't be the last.
I don't think it's the
either.
first case of fatalities.
No.
It's just that it's topical.
Yeah.
No, and as Robin says, I don't think it's going to be the last. Ojalá.
See,
No equivoquemos,
unfortunately,
¿no? But
touch wood, it doesn't
unfortunately-
happen again, but it's probably going to happen again. The difference is, Joe, I'm one of these firm believers. You legalize it like Amsterdam did.
Yep.
Look what happened there. They had high crime y de pronto no había nada.
Se vino abajo.
You literally lose the whole illegal trade. You can tax it, more money for Gib, more money for Spain as well. And la gente se hartan. Es como, ¿para qué voy a hacer eso if I can just go to a shop and get it? Al mismo tiempo, there has to be laws put in place, blah, blah,
At
blah.
the
Then
end,
you have
At
to.
the end,
You have to.
I concur with that view.
Sí, sí.
Esto de the war on drugs.
The war on drugs, which is
Eso-
alive on the Reagan
Pero
era.
sí, y no aprendieron del prohibition in America.
Yo no.
¿Qué pasó con el prohibition in America? That's when organized crime rocketed.
There is, as you
Actually,
say,
when the mob came.
cannabis resin, hash, as we know it. Morocco, the world's main producer, and then there's the South American connection as well. Cocaine via shipping containers through major Spanish ports such as Barcelona, Valencia, and closest to home, Algeciras.
Yep.
As well, and so that is why it's such a problem. I mean, Gibraltar really kind of in Europe's gateway.
Sí,
It's in Europe's gateway from Morocco
From Morocco.
sí.
north. Digamos,
On
no?
a sandwich in the middle.
It's one of those.
¿Y por qué te cruzan los pájaros el estrecho? The shortest distance.
No.
Hello. Es que por eso, es que I find this
Fascinante.
sensationalism about the whole issue, ¿comprende? Porque as if we didn't understand the geography of the place, ¿no?
From a joke.
Hello.
From a geography teacher.
Geography teacher.
¿Vale? Y después que, ¡oh! De pronto uno ve lo que está pasando en el estrecho.
But that's not
Yeah.
to suggest that we shouldn't be trying to combat it.
Well, I think part of the problem is like Paul has just said. If we took a totally different approach to it,
Isa.
¿vale?
If it's
Because
not
this
Portugal
is-
did something similar as well, no? 10, 20 years ago. didn't
Portugal actually legalized almost all drugs because they had a massive issue with homelessness, addiction issues, stuff like that. They made it all legal and they created clinics with free needle exchange. They saw a massive 50% drop within 1 year of people that were habitual users that had issues with it. And actually, in modern day now, you will not see as much as you used to see underneath every bridge, every corner, stuff like that. Now it's become a very normalized thing where it's like, nah, we don't do that.
The thing is, these success stories, they're obviously encouraging, but to try and compare it or try and recreate that model in a place like Gibraltar, Gibraltar is unique, and so it's so difficult to say, well, no, it worked in Portugal and it worked in Amsterdam, so it must work.
Pero vamos a decir, sabemos todo, and we all know, ¿qué pasa en Gibraltar? There's a lot of people doing a lot of different things, and we don't like saying it, and God forbid, ahora me van a poner como the promoter of drugs in Gib. Pero it's true. We all know it's happening. We all have always known. The difference is perspective. What we've been doing for years has never worked. It's all my life I've been told drugs and don't do it. Y todavía hay gente que lo hacen. So it's not working.
Mira, we used to have this drug awareness campaign in the schools, ¿vale?
No me acuerdo.
No, bueno, it was very well intentioned, pero it was to a certain extent aimed at the wrong
Age
group,
Yep.
¿vale? Porque estábamos hablando de niños de year 5, de droga,
Que no
cosas,
saben
por
nada.
ejemplo, así, ¿no?
The middle
Y
school.
yo aprendí un montón de droga as a result of that, cosa que yo no sabía.
Claro.
I always genuinely believed that cocaine was something that had to be sniffed. And in these drug awareness campaigns was where I learned that you could actually smoke it too.
Smoke it.
Aunque lo que le estaba dando era más información.
Your exposure rather than
Sí, pero
education and awareness.
I think that should be aimed more at secondary schools como Bayside y Westside
And more the
age,
upper
¿no?
ever. The
Bueno,
upper
pero
levels,
es
because...
como tantas cosas, Heidi. Giving people education and giving people information has to be pitched at the right level and at the right time. Yeah.
Eso es verdad.
You cannot have just a blanket policy, así, ¿no? It's the same as, for example, for many, many years, sex education was taboo in schools. ¿Vale?
Sí,
So
¿verdad?
true.
It was taboo.
Algo que
I mean, people would refuse to teach it.
Well, no, it was cartoons. When I was in school, it was cartoon cats patting each other down. And then you have a baby. Buenísimo.
That's good memory, eh?
Imagínate, yo como una persona viendo esto pensando, ¿a qué vamos con esto? I'm not learning anything here, regardless, anyway. Yo pensaba, a mí no me gustan los gatos, anyway.
Hey, do you know what? We'll leave it at that. It's food for thought. I'd be really interested to take that question downtown and see what the public,
Mira.
what they would decide.
Sorry, can I just add to that, no? Amsterdam, por ejemplo, Holanda, no? Amsterdam, es todo Holanda. Yeah? And they went down the way of not of regulating it, se puede decir, because you can only do it in coffee shops y todo lo demás.
exacto.
Yep.
And I mean, the Netherlands doesn't have this massive drug problem, if you see what I mean.
No, pero
yo tengo,
Exactly.
mi mujer tiene familia allí, ¿vale? And they are not users, if
I
you
tell
see
you, it's a
what I
very
mean.
rare thing for the locals now.
Sí, yeah.
Fantástico.
It's
It's a
more
tour-
for the
it's a
tourists.
It's more for tourism,
Tourists,
right, sir?
It's a tourist thing.
Mira que we need more
Speaking-
tourism.
speak-
Sorry,
speaking
sorry.
Wow. Ahí ya te estás metiendo en terreno peligroso, ¿eh?
Speaking of Gibraltar and Spain and the relationships and what passes and perhaps what doesn't, we've got a podcast series to tell you about. It's available on the GBC website. The latest episode of Llanito, Exploring the Landscape, was released today. Ahead of the removal of the physical frontier between Gibraltar and Spain, Professor Ioana Citaridu of the University of Cambridge explores the dynamic nature of language and identity through the lens of Llanito. She's an expert in linguistics. She makes for a fascinating listen.
The border is physical, but also psychological and social, and ultimately profoundly political. Exactly like dialects, which are languages without political power. Some people cross the borders, others don't or can't. Some people do it openly, others not so openly. Gibraltarians, for the first time, they have the choice. Choice is always a prerogative, and you will ultimately decide whether to pass on Llanito or not, whether to be multilingual or monolingual. Whatever you do, it is okay, and only for you to decide.
So there you go, an extremely intelligent woman, fascinating to listen to. That a snippet from the latest episode from this podcast series, and it just I mean, made available actually just today, so you can head to the GBC website if you do want to listen to that in full. But it just begs so many questions regarding culture and identity, and so we've spoken about the treaty before. Heidi, I'll come to you. Like, what impact do you think the treaty might have on our culture? Will people embrace this change?
I think when it comes to our language, our Llanito language, although that some of the Linense have adopted our Llanito language because you do go to La Línea and they understand what you're talking about. When you ask for un chewing gum, when you ask for liquidva, they know what it is. Because mito, todo eso. But I think when it comes to our younger generation, that's already been lost. Because our children, al menos yo hablo por los míos.
Difficult to reverse, no, as well?
Sí, because they speak more English than Spanish. When we were in school, nos regañaban because we were talking in Spanish.
¿O no?
We couldn't... Tú me regañabas, seguro.
Ya te sopaba.
El Cardona que viene, I'm hablar inglés. But no, in school, we used to get told off for speaking in Spanish. I think now it should be... enforced,
yeah.
no?
Well, no, but in this podcast, she suggests that actually the opening of the border might help to stem the flow and
yes,
and,
Bring more,
that's what we
more
need.
Spanish people
More
in.
Spanish.
We start to have to talk to them more. That's really good.
yeah.
Yo creo que there's two issues here, really, Robin. The Spanish has been lost, I think, essentially because of two things, ¿vale? And one is the fact that we have always, or a lot of us have thought, that getting our children to speak in English would be beneficial for their education.
Yep.
Yeah. And the other one is the influence of the media.
Y todo el
¿Vale?
perfil.
Satellite television y todo eso. In my day, we had two channels, se veía o GBC o La Primera.
Ahí está.
No,
¿vale?
and our grandparents
Now,
también.
I know,
Eso sí.
yeah, most of our grandparents, was the opposite. They were very limited in their use of English.
Por eso hablábamos más también en español.
Yeah.
¿no?
We used to speak more Spanish because our grandparents, they used to speak, pero poquito.
I've actually spoken to that lady, no? Y Laura Wright, me parece que, who's the other professor from the Cambridge University. I had a discussion with them, no? Because they, which I don't necessarily agree with, they consider Llanito to be a language in itself.
No,
although
tampoco.
I don't think it's a language in itself.
I would
It's the way
I would
we
describe
use
it as
language.
like a dialect.
A dialect.
An advanced dialect.
It is.
Okay? Lo que pasa que I
You
think
can't
what we need
write
to...
it, it's spoken.
You can. There's some sort of forms of grammar that come into it and structure as well, pero it's hard to formalize, no? So it's an advanced sort of dialect, I'd say, no?
Como Creole, por
Yeah,
ejemplo.
Creole, but Creole is considered a full language in itself.
Sí, sí, sí. I think if we want to preserve the Llanito language, shall we say, no, for want of a better word, what we need to do is promote both, promote bilingualism,
Yep.
para empezar,
Which
English
is what
and
we
Spanish.
really are, ¿verdad?
And then that's where the Llanito comes in, because what we actually do is code switch.
We do.
¿Vale?
Yes.
That is what makes our use of language fascinating.
And
how
unique.
we
do
can
you
change
guys
from...
think bilingually?
Yes.
Yes.
I think that the
I
first...
think in English.
No.
I think in so many things.
No, pero that's an interesting comment, porque mira, por ejemplo, I tend to think depending on what the subject is, okay? Either in English or in Spanish, dependiendo de lo que sea el tema. Pero the true test of bilingualism, I think, is when it comes down to mathematics. How easily can you do sums in English or in Spanish?
I suck in both.
I was going to say,
Yo maths, forget it.
Pasé de pija.
Yo maths, pero I
No,
think that...
pero mira, te voy a decir, yo, for example, you ask me for my mobile phone number, and I'm not going to give it now, pero yo digo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I'll
¿no?
say it in English.
Sí, pero
Say it
como
in
lo
English.
tenga que decir en español, estoy pensando 1, 2,
Sí.
3,
We're going to post it for the discounted price.
No.
No.
Yeah.
But I think that the easiest word that comes to mind is what comes out through your mouth.
Sí.
Sí.
I've always
Like,
explained this to people when they've asked me, tourists and that have asked me, how do you do that? No, yo le digo, mira, I've got like 2 boxes in my head.
Sí.
Está English box y Spanish box, ¿vale? Digo, when I'm talking to somebody in English, Spanish box is switched off and English box is on. And the opposite when I'm talking to somebody in Spanish. Digo, pero when I'm talking to a fellow Gibraltarian, both boxes are on.
It's
Con
good
que lo
luck to
que
you
sale
whatever
por
comes
mi
out.
boca
Yeah.
es la primera palabra que me entra en la cabeza.
Yeah.
Just say a scene.
Yeah. Speaking of Janitismo, it is now time to fly the nest. Our Janitos abroad this week are actually based in the UK, but are currently elsewhere. So the story goes, 2 months ago, husband and wife Robert and Ana Maria Gomez embarked on the challenge of a lifetime, a 4,000-kilometer trek from Rome to Gibraltar.
Wow.
They dubbed it 4 million steps for Mabel to honor their granddaughter, who was diagnosed with leukemia in 2023 at just 2 years old. They're now about halfway through the challenge, but where?
Hi, I'm Robert Gomez, and I'm currently in St. Gilles in France, on our way to Montpellier, where we should be in about 3 days' time. I was born in Gibraltar like nearly 81 years ago. I'll be 81 at the end of next month, and did my military service in the Gibraltar Regiment, as one did in those days. Worked for Barclays Bank. I was chief cashier for the Irish Town branch, which I helped to set up many years ago. Then I decided to leave Gibraltar, and I went to work in London. I worked for Midland International Bank. I was then headhunted by the United California Bank, and from there I was headhunted again to go to South America. I was transferred to Buenos Aires, and there I met Ana Maria, who is now my wife. 4 million steps for Mabel. Now, Mabel is my granddaughter, and when she was 2, she was diagnosed with ALL, which is acute lymphoblastic leukemia. And so for just over 2 years, she underwent treatment, quite brutal treatment, really, for a 2-year-old. She had numerous lumbar punctures. She had chemo every day. I mean, you can't imagine what the treatment was like. And but throughout it all, she always kept a brave face. You know, she was always smiling. The reason why we're doing this is basically to honor Mabel. You know, to say to her, we acknowledge that you've been a really brave little girl, and Grandpa and Granny are going to show you what we can do. The funding that we're trying to raise is for a charity called Momentum Children's Charity. Momentum was at the hospital on day 1 when Mabel was taken in. And they have been absolutely fantastic throughout. We're donating funds to this particular charity, Momentum. We've actually seen firsthand what they do. If you want to donate, go to justgiving.com and then 4 million steps for Mabel. We have a Facebook page where we try and update every day, or most days, not every day. And that page also is called 4 Million Steps for Mabel. They've always thought we're crazy. There's nothing new in there. I think they worry a lot, as I would if the children were doing this, for example. We get calls most days. We chat with Celine and with Mabel and so on. Our motivation is really Mabel. I mean, I can't tell you how happy we are that she's okay. I mean, she could have died. She was, when she was taken to hospital, we were told that she was given a blood transfusion, and that blood transfusion saved her life. You know, it was that crucial. So every time we feel, I mean, we're tired all the time, obviously. We're quite used to it in a way because we've done a lot of walks. But our daughter, Celine, when I complained in the past, she said, all you have to do is be more Mabel. And I think that's our mantra, if you like, be more Mabel. Everybody, thank you so much for continuing to support us. Do get in touch. If you just send us an email, a text, anything, to show that you're there, that you're supporting us. We can't thank you enough for everything. You know, if you can donate, please do so. If you can't, that's fine. You know, we hope that you enjoy the photos that we're posting and the videos and that we're posting and so on. And yeah, we hope to see you in Gibraltar one day. So when we finish.
Yeah, great to hear from our Llanito abroad, Robert Gomez. And if you would like to do your bit and help them raise further funds, they are 4 million steps for Mabel on Facebook, and then you can just sort of follow the steps from there. So great to hear from Robert in France. Kenneth, you've had a busy weekend. You had the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride, but first, basking in the glory at the Incers Hall.
Sí. Bueno.
Precioso, eh?
You enjoyed it, no?
Precioso. Nightmare in el Museo. Honestly, chapeau
That's
to
all.
all of you.
Mira, what can I say?
It's been a long time since I've laughed out loud that much.
Está bien, por eso es bueno, porque mira, the only comment that I can make on that, and it's something that I talked to the cast and the directors about. For us personally, the people who were involved in doing it, if the people who went to see it enjoyed it as much as we have enjoyed doing it, then it's a success. The reaction from the audience every night.
I've never done stage acting like that. I probably never will. But I wonder, is there any dovetailing there? Are you working off the crowd? As in, might you get a better reaction one night than the next?
Teaching. You feed off the audience, if you see what I mean, no?
And so if they laugh at one line, you say the next one with more confidence, maybe?
Well, no, lo que pasa es que you feel more engaged with the audience, if you see
There's
what
a
I
vibe,
mean.
no? I suppose it's a give and take.
Tú lo has dicho, that vibe, no? Y on a different level, porque maestro también, you know, you can do the same lesson to different classes of children, but how the lesson progresses depends on the reaction of the pupils to what you're doing. And it can be so different.
Sí, sí.
Y es la misma lección. I mean, sometimes I used to do the same lesson 8 times.
Lo hago 4 veces a la semana.
I mean, it was beautifully written by Michael Prescott and Nathan
Bueno,
Conroy.
te digo una cosa. One of the good things about Mike and Nathan is that they write the original script, no? Pero then they give the cast a little bit of license to bring in some of our own quirks and stuff, como the gaviot.
El Gaviot.
Gaviot.
One, as soon as I heard it, I thought, that is such a Kenneth thing to say.
Heavens, no?
Pero it's actually based on something which happened in real life, a ver si me entiende, no? Pero I had to bring that caveat in.
So if you weren't able to be down at the Incers Hall last week, a showing of it will be on GBC coming soon. So keep your ears peaked? Just pay attention, basically. And also shout out. The brain is not braining. Shout out to Lionel Cipollina, Minister Cortés, and Professor Finlayson. Cameo roles from them, brilliant. And then on to Sunday, the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride. That was really well attended.
Sí. I don't know how many bikes there were in actual fact, pero I would imagine...
Mira el Kenneth, qué
guapo está. Hombre, dapper
And Mafia.
man.
Dapper, very
Very much so, digo.
I think there were over 200 bikes.
Really?
Yo creo que sí.
Sounds like a-
And it's all done for charity, a ver si me entiende, que es for prostate cancer, Gibraltar and suicide awareness, ¿no? Y
Señor Johnny Walker.
it's quite an event.
Johnny que no falte,
Sí,
¿eh?
sí. He was flagging us off.
Sounds so wrong.
Flagging us down, ¿no? O lo que
Flag
sea.
you off.
Sí.
Pero que no falte
Pero,
nuestro Johnny.
mira, I mean, it's a day where all people who are bikers,
Yeah.
enthusiastic about motorcycling, we come together and do something for charity, ¿no?
Pero está bonito.
It's a good event porque
Great initiative.
well, not everybody, but the majority of people se esmeran en vestirse bien and what have you, ¿no?
And showing off these gorgeous bikes they
I
take
do
care
not
of, no?
normally ride my bike like that.
Venga ya, you do. Secretly,
Say
you do.
Your
Sí,
technique
sí.
looked off.
¿Eh?
The technique looked off there.
Sí.
Expect more
Y
from
el
you, Kenneth.
helmet ese no te deja la policía que te lo ponga.
A beautiful day for a ride around the rock. We've got to skim through some. I mean, this is worthy of more than just skimming through. But a big announcement from the LGBTQ community today. Pride 2026, the 5th anniversary, man.
This anniversary, and we finally got there. We're just at the final stages. We finally announced our 2 headliners.
Go on.
So basically, this year we've done a little bit different. So we've got 2 headliners, Pride 2026 as well. We've got a partnership with a specific company, Admiral Insurance. They are now our official partner.
There's the poster.
Yep, poster, and these are past moments as well.
So
but-
tell us about Kyron Thrax and Denali.
So Kyron Thrax is the last UK winner of RuPaul's Drag Race UK. Really creative, very quirky, very different, very avant-garde as well. And then you've got Denali, which is a full-on performer where it's, they're involved in all sorts of styles of performance. So we're going to have a really good show, a lot of dance. And this, I have to give special thanks always to Reagan, which is...
How's he managed to get 2 such massive names? I mean, talk about a dog with a bone. No?
Honestly, that's how you describe the best way to describe him. Reagan, when he says, I want this person, he's going to start. And
He'll
they'll
fight
start
not
off.
to the end.
Those agents must be horrified with it because they start off and they're like, vale, it's going to be, I don't know, this much money. And he's like, no, half. And they'll say, bueno, we'll get third of the way. No, more. And he keeps on bringing them down. But yo no sé si yo tengo mucha vergüenza con esa cosa, pero he does not give an absolute about it. He's just like, less, 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 and he'll haggle them down all year round.
Wow.
I mean, it takes, what, about
Master negotiator.
8 to 9 months that we work on Pride just for one day, and you've got Reagan from that moment onwards. Actually, he's already thinking about next year. Y ahí está el machacando que
Wow.
it's going to be a cheaper Pride. We need cheapness and a lot more and more people and more esto.
Heidi, we need to be taking notes about how to negotiate. I would never have taken that tactic, but I want.
Sí.
Seems to have worked.
Yeah,
well.
we're going to have a conversation.
Nosotros vamos a hacer un collaboration aquí
vamos.
también. The only thing is que tengo que decir, I spend the entire time of planning, screaming at him, para de gastar, para de gastar. Y él es como, ¿a qué hemos cogido? Una libra que me gasto. So it's like
By
that.
the way, as well, really nice touch that in last year's Pride we saw the first Pride Award, no, handed
Yep.
to Charlie Trico
Exactly.
for his contribution basically down the years. This year, presumably,
We have the award coming up again.
is it nomination based?
It's nomination based, and then the final nominations, we're giving a little bit of a special tribute to basically Charlie Trico and a few other members within the committee and outside. We'll be talking and we're discussing who should be that person. You can still vote. It's on our social media as well. Nominations will be closing basically the end of the month. And there's some interesting nominations there. They're actually quite beautiful. Some people for different attributes, like being a public image, or some people more on the down low that have done a lot, and not even I knew about it as well. So
Really?
I'd love to give awards to everyone. The problem is it's one a year. That's the rule we've got.
Keeps it special. One thing, sadly, that is not down to a vote are the school summer hours.
Ooh.
So, teacher present and teacher past, school summer hours. I mean, first of all, what's the
Hablando de
feel?
mí.
Sí, a ti.
Ah,
Adiós, tío.
Well, el teacher passed, yes.
vale.
What's the feeling like currently in Bayside and Westside? Are people talking about it? Is there any frustration, or is it just just about sort of keep on keeping on?
Los otros, just let us know. Just let us know.
Pero ya
'Cause
queda, I mean, July the 10th is the current.
Now it's July the 10th.
No, espérate,
Before it was the 30th of June, then it was esto, el otro.
No,
The
but
thing
in the
is-
school calendar, it's still
All
July.
years, it's always been around
July
the
the
10th,
12th.
no?
algo así. Es que I actually, when you said we were going to talk about this, I went on the government website and I checked out the calendar, ¿vale? The calendar for this year todavía dice the 12th,
Sí.
¿vale? Of July. Y the calendar for next year dice the 9th of July, if I remember rightly, okay? Vale, okay. Now, as far as I can see, this started off because on social media somebody started asking when the schools were going to close for the summer, esto lo otro.
It was removed
Yo
somewhere else.
miré en Google, government website, y decía the 12th of July. So my first initial reaction era, bueno, ¿y por qué está preguntando esto si está ahí en el calendar? And if a tech twit like me can manage to find that out, a ver si me entiende, ¿no? Pero después there was this talk about the fact that they wanted to do away with the half days. And we were talking about the whole issue of the half days before, because the half days are not actually counted as half days, they're counted as full days. Now, one of the things that we need to make people aware is the fact that the number of days that the school is open is actually law, if you see what I mean. ¿Vale? There is a certain...
But we've now changed to hours instead of
Bueno, eso no
days.
sé, pero
Algo así, that's been
in
part
my
of the
day it was
changes.
stipulated 188 days in the calendar year, lo que sea, ¿vale? Okay? What then I came across era this statement by the NASUWT, where it was talking about the teachers having red lines y esto, lo otro, para acá, para allá. I'm not very aware of what those red lines are, porque yo estoy out of the
Sí, it's
picture.
more about working
pero,
conditions.
Pero, tengo que preguntar una cosa, ¿vale? Esto de shortening the school year y todo lo demás, está muy bien, para los padres, para los niños quizás. Has anybody considered the poor grandparents?
This is the one problem that most teachers are having at the moment, where we're being told,
I think
and
they
a
have
lot
been
of people
considered.
are blaming us.
Have they?
I think they have been considered.
See,
They are part of the
There was a
pie,
survey
yeah.
last year that was done by the government. I think it was the education department that did it. We had nothing to do with it. Teachers have nothing to do with any of this. Ante que lo culpen a los otros que miren para arriba, porque los
Claro.
otros, we didn't even start this. We don't care about half days. Half days, we're still going to teach. And to personally, teaching in half days is not what people in la calle dicen. Los teachers no hacen nada en half days. Yo me harto de trabajar. I've
No,
got
I think-
GCSE and A-level students for the next
I think
year.
the general view is that half the pupils aren't there anymore.
Ahí está, esos son los padres, los niños ya.
Yeah, yeah.
Pero la lástima para este año, if they're going to change it, who's taking care of these kids? Because some kids can't be left alone.
Yeah.
And especially lower level, like we're talking primary kids, who's taking care of them? So they have to...
So sorry, Ken. We've got to move it on just because on summer hours, obviously childcare a big issue as Paul mentions, and summer plans on hold for now.
¡Estamos callados!
Está fuerte hoy, ¿eh?
¿Te has fijado?
Mautao, vamos.
Necesitamos
Yeah, do you like
blusha.
this?
Voy a prender blusha.
El blusha hace falta, así se calla.
Sí, sí.
Así se calla.
Me saca el makeup brush y me quedo
Just
callado.
because we're desperate to go downtown, so we actually took to Main Street last week to find out what you love and don't love about summer and your beach of choice.
Anda, vamos a ver.
The best thing about summer is the heat.
I've just come over from university, so obviously being away from my family means obviously I don't get to see them as much as I would like to, so being back here for summer I can spend time with my granny, with my mum, with my siblings.
The heat, obviously. I love it. I hate damp.
Yeah, you can enjoy yourself, you can have a great time, and obviously enjoy the beaches, beautiful beaches in Gibraltar.
Parties, barbecues, cachondeo, basically.
Just being able to relax, enjoy. I think the rain has really been quite dreadful this year.
The worst thing about summer is actually wanting to go to the beach and finding it difficult to park, right? Especially at Catalan Bay where I go to, right, during the weekends.
The ants. This morning I found a whole pile.
Walking home up all the steps, up in the raincoats.
A few months in, everybody's like, oh my goodness, just bring back the rain, bring back the cold, give me the jumpers.
At the beginning, you sort of welcome it, but then as summer progresses, it gets worse, it gets unbearable.
The heat and the amount of people in town, not everywhere.
The choices that are put before you for food, barbecues, drinks,
It's all different, and I think it's too much of a challenge for me.
At the same time, it's very lively. There's a lot of life, the days are longer, which for me is also the best bit about it.
I've always been del Guari, so desde chica con mi abuela, we used to go at 9 in the morning, and by 3 o'clock ya le estaba quitando la sombrilla yo a mi abuela. The water is lovely, the environment, the people, everybody's super welcoming. There's a lovely restaurant, Dolphin Restaurant.
I'm a little Bay Arean.
To Eastern Beach, and I don't like summer. I hate it.
I think Sandy Bay is probably the best one, I think. It's super chilled, isn't it?
I go to Eastern Beach. Sometimes when my daughter's free, we park there, we cross. It's very calm in the morning. I go in the mornings.
Possibly Sandy Bay, but I don't go to the beach anymore.
You get what we call the summer neighbours. People you don't see normally during the year, and for the 3 or 4 months of the summer, they are everybody goes to that particular place.
Love that, the summer neighbours for 3 or 4 months of the year. We're going to just go to a break just a second, but before we do, thanks to a few of you who've been in touch via WhatsApp. A reminder that you can now have your say on WhatsApp. This from Duncan. He says, I honestly think Gibraltar is slowly losing Llanito, and it's something people do not talk about enough. Growing up, a lot of us felt like speaking proper English made you seem more educated or higher class, while speaking too much Spanish or broken English was looked down on or lower class. Because of that, many people changed the way they naturally spoke. Now I feel younger generations still speak Spanish, but not with the same bilingual mix, expressions and effortless switching between English and Spanish that made Llanito so unique. This from Manuel. Why do we insist that Llanito is only English and Spanish? There are many other languages that make Llanito: Genovese, Portuguese, Italian, etc.
Pero
I agree with Duncan.
I'm sorry. I think the Llanito is literally Spanish and English. Sorry.
There are some expressions.
There are some things that we pick up from other countries, no?
From other places.
But that's language, no?
The roots of the language are English and Spanish.
I've always known it to be
It's the same.
Hay alguna palabra de otro.
Bueno, pero
Italiano, ¿no? También.
Pues mira, hoy intenta de ser el outro en... I don't think there was any Genovese in that, pero bueno, time for a quick break. When we return, we'll be joined by the Mayor of Gibraltar, always warm, always witty, Nicky Guerrero. See you now.
Los cortó otra vez.
Así que saca.
Welcome back to City Pals. Now, you do well to find a more impressive CV than that of Nicky Guerrero, former CEO of the Tourist Board, current director of the International Cruise Summit, and since December last year, the Mayor of Gibraltar. But that only tells half the story. He's a self-confessed aviation geek. Have a guess how many books about planes he owns? Nope, more than that. He's also the youngest person ever to win the Best Actor Award at the Gibraltar Drama Festival. So without further ado, let's break the fourth wall and say hello to the 21st Mayor of Gibraltar, Nicky Guerrero. ¿Cómo estamos?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, it's really good to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah.
It's always fantastic to be in Broadcasting House, honestly. And of course, I have the honor of sharing the sofa with these wonderful people. So, you know, a bonus, yeah.
Speaking of honors, speaking of honors, how is it being mayor?
Do you know what? It's absolutely amazing. First of all, it's an honor and something you never really expect is going to happen. And I think one of the highlights about it is really I'm meeting so many wonderful people right, in our community. We really have such incredible people, not only in a professional field, but also in you know, voluntary roles, doing incredible things for our community. And I'm learning so much from them. So that really is probably one of the highlights. It's busy as well, very, very busy, probably busier than people might think, but yeah, it's really wonderful.
We went for a coffee the other day. That was actually something that sort of surprised me slightly, that it is a sort of an educational journey too for you. Okay,
yeah, very much. I mean, when you get the chance to visit charities or organizations or even places of work, you know, that you've never maybe been to before or maybe know a little bit about, and you're suddenly given the chance, the opportunity, the privilege of getting some in-depth knowledge about all the wonderful things that are being done.
What about having taken over from previous Mayor Carmen Gomez? Talk to us about her legacy.
Yes, well, I mean, that was great. I had the honor of working with Carmen. I've actually now, in fact, in June, it's going to be 3 years since I was appointed as her deputy mayor. So that's, quite a long time now. And
so 6 months on paper, but actually more in practice.
I was very busy last year, particularly. Yes, very busy. So, but again, I mean, serving as Carmen's
and this now you're
deputy.
home from home, Nicky.
Oh, there we are. Yes, that's it. Yes, I'm there a few days a week. Absolutely. An incredible building, by the way.
And the interior, by the way, is amazing.
Yes,
you showed me around.
Yes.
These portraits of some of your predecessors.
That's right.
It's just amazing.
All the way back to Sir Joshua, who was the first Gibraltarian mayor. So that's, and then they go all the way up. Yes, that's correct. So I mean, it's honestly one of the things as well is to think that one day my portrait will be up there as well. It's such, it's incredible. It's really incredible. It's really quite incredible.
Do you get to choose the artist?
Yes, you do.
Have you chosen one?
Not yet.
Who are you going to choose?
I have no idea yet.
He's got the shortlist.
I have no idea. I'm so busy at the moment that I think
Are
that's
you
something I'll do.
I mean, I'll give it a go, but...
A mí no me llame.
Fuera pintó.
Sí, porque vamos a tener un matchstick mío ahí.
You know he's related, can you tell?
Oh, really?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Distant cousins.
Yeah.
Christian Hook painted the most recent one of Carmen Gomez, am I right?
No,
or one of the more
no,
recent ones?
No, it was a bit further back. I think maybe Mommy Levise was done by him.
All right, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, isn't it? I mean, it's almost incredible to think that I'm going to be up there as well one of these days. But it is. I mean, I'm really enjoying it.
We could spend the next half hour talking about the history of the city hall. It's
amazing!
It's fascinating.
Amazing.
Eh?
Yes. Built originally as somebody's home. And then, refurbished and embellished. Yes, absolutely. Imagine having a... That's right, Cardoso, and then Larios, and then it became a hotel.
Wasn't Cardoso somehow friendly with Horatio Nelson?
I think,
yes,
no?
yes. See, that's why he managed to get that building erected, because of the friendship he had with Nelson.
Asking for permission, I think, for a very long time to build that.
Sí.
Then it became a hotel. Imagine what an amazing hotel it is. And then a civic building. And it's been, to have, for example, our first telephone exchange was in there.
Really?
Yes, the city council used to sit there before, we had a House of Assembly and then a Parliament. So, yeah, full of history.
There was a change of constitution. Was it in sort of the mid-noughties, 2007,
yep,
por ahí?
That's right.
Talk to us about that change and what it did to the role. It sort of humanized it, no, in some ways?
Well, before that, you had to become mayor, you had to be a member of the House of Assembly or Parliament, House of Assembly, or City Council going back. And after the last constitutional change, it means that anybody can become Mayor of Gibraltar. So you will see that after a certain point...
Oh.
Sí, tú puedes.
Me quedo con ella.
Una comida.
Por Dios.
Campaign.
¿Te imaginas?
Yo te hago
me cogen de mía, yo arruino libertad. Pati todos los weekends.
Exactamente, eso le queremos.
Va a punto.
Te vamos a rockear.
Yo te ayudo.
Nosotros vamos de VIP, ¿no, Kenneth?
Claro.
De VIP vamos.
Nicky, has it taken some getting used to the sort of the attire?
Yeah. Yes. Well, with the chain of office, I think you mentioned before you wanted to know how heavy it was.
Yeah, it looks heavy.
I know it's a kilo, exactly a kilo.
It's a kilo.
And I know that because we had some school kids visiting.
I was going to say that.
And of course they asked those questions.
To put this into perspective, para que la gente lo entienda, eso es como tener un saco de
azúcar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's fine when you first have it on for a while, but after a couple of hours, if you're in an event, it is quite heavy.
You do feel after a while.
Yes, you do.
The robes are quite impressive as
the
well.
robes
they are
very
high quality
as well.
Yeah,
I don't know who's made them, but they're
made in the UK.
They're
a specialist company that does these sort of things.
Though.
And that doesn't see the light of day as often as the chain because it's for. But yeah, we know that it's a kilo because, as I said, we had the kids visiting and the kids are wonderful and they ask you all these questions. They're lovely, and of course they're fascinated by these things. So they say, "How heavy?" And the first time they came in, I said, "I don't know." So my wonderful PA, my assistant, Jovanka, I said, "Jovanka, let's weigh these things." So
I love the idea of you and Jovanka.
And she said, because she's wonderful and she's so hopeful. And so I said, yeah, let's wait because then the next time we have the visits, we know, you know what.
It is a fun fact.
Oh, I mean, you know, the wonderful thing about this, I mean, the age group was probably 6, 7, 8, and they come with their little pieces of paper, you know, with the questions, all historical questions. But then eventually you open up the floor to them, you know, and I think they have this idea that the mayor lives in City Hall.
For sure.
So one of the,
I would too at that age.
Well, maybe, yeah. And one of the kids
teachers live in the school, so they must think you live there.
I mean, this question, a little boy said, do you have pajamas? Because they must.
Come on,
and I said, yes, I do.
Yes,
so, but it's, you know, it's wonderful to see how giving them that opportunity to visit the place and learn about the history, etc., because it belongs to us, of course.
You say on your website you're quoted as having a real focus on unity and inclusion. That's kind of arguably never been more important given geopolitical turmoil and stuff that we really stay a unit here in Gib. No?
Of course, we have to celebrate that thing that we have here that is so special. You know, we really have got this wonderful community spirit, very inclusive. You know, always facing every challenge that comes our way. You know, with a great community spirit. Yeah. So yes, we are very privileged in what we have here.
The mayor's primary role is to serve and to represent the community of Gibraltar. And on that note, someone else who's been making a bit of a name for himself within the community is Stephen Cook. He goes by Rock the Environment on social media, and over a disposable coffee, he explained how he was helping keep our rock beautiful, one piece of litter at a time.
First things first, how do you take your coffee?
Just white, no sugar.
White, no sugar. Rock the Environment. That's the name on social media. Tell us about what you do.
So essentially, I'm a litter picking page. So I go around hotspots in Gibraltar, areas where I notice there's a lot of litter. Just go around and pick up as much of it as I can and document that on my Facebook page. Show people what I'm doing, how I do it, and the before and after, so they can gauge the amount of litter there is, how much I've cleaned up, and then just do a short reel, just showcasing what I've done.
Fighting the good fight. When did it all start? Was there a moment that you thought, right, this has to be done?
So from a young age, I've always been quite big on the environment, cleaning up after myself, and essentially after I moved to Gibraltar, you know, I noticed a few areas that are quite heavily littered, so I've always sort of thought about what can I do to tackle this issue. Now, back in February, there was a beach clean as part of the Nautilus project. They do like an annual beach clean event, so I opted to take part in this, and I really enjoyed it, and it kind of spurred me on to, you know, take something like myself and create my litter picking page. So that kind of prompted and got the ball rolling with that. I also follow a lot of UK litter picking pages that do the same kind of thing. So the two things combined sort of spurred me on to start my page up. And I try and do as many litter picks as I can, so maybe 1 or 2 a week. I'd do more if I could, but...
You're a working man, you're a father as well,
exactly.
So you've got
exactly.
Other tasks
so work and childcare commitments permitting, I aim to do sort of 1 or 2 a week. But yeah, it keeps me going, it keeps me positive. And yeah, great feedback from the community kind of gives me more fuel to keep going.
Are there enough bins in Gibraltar, and do we perhaps need more surveillance in some of these hotspots?
Surveillance is always good, although again it costs money to provide the equipment, the cameras to do that. I think there are quite a lot of bins in Gibraltar, but you can never argue over a few more. You know, a few more bins would always help, I guess. But most of the bins that I see are regularly emptied. A lot of bins I see around, you know, they're not full. There's room in there for more litter, so why people in some areas choose not to use them is beyond me. I can't really wrap my head around that.
I just want to reread your quotes. It's from the Rock the Environment Facebook page. I thought it was brilliant. The world does not need a few people doing everything perfectly. It needs all of us doing a little when we can.
I think that's key, really, isn't it? It's not about a few of us doing everything. It's just about everyone doing a little bit. I think everyone has a conscious effort just to be a little bit more mindful And just one small act can go a long way. We're not asking a lot from everyone here, just a small act from each individual, and collectively that can make a massive difference.
Steve, to a cleaner Gibraltar.
Thank you very much, Robin. I appreciate it.
And by the way, the full version of that interview will be up online as from tomorrow. If you do want to find out more about Stephen Cook, Rock the Environment on Facebook. And for a man who takes so importantly civic pride, this is a guy singing off the same hymn sheet, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely great. Yeah. Really
Fighting the good fight.
Yeah.
Nicky, talk to us about for anyone that doesn't know you, there won't be many out there, but anyone that doesn't know you, tourism, your bread and butter, that's really how you sort of made a name for yourself. That was your passion throughout your career.
The majority of my career was in tourism, in the tourism industry. So, I mean, we were actually talking before, Heidi and I, because I started off for a while and working for the Ministry of Defence. And then I worked in the hospitality industry for a while. And then for nearly 25 years, I worked for the Gibraltar Tourist Board. So I suppose that's the longest I was in a particular field, but it was fantastic. I had an incredible team as well working with me. So, we made very good friends and we worked in all the different spheres that there are, of course, of the tourism industry, the airline industry, the cruise industry, general tourism market, and we all had different responsibilities. So, yeah, it was really probably one of the most interesting and educational parts of my life, and I thoroughly enjoyed doing it, and I loved working with the people that I had around.
And not to toot your own horn, but talk to us about the evolution of Gibraltar as a product.
Yes.
Over those sort of 20 years or so.
Yeah, I mean, we've all seen the changes. We've all seen how it's evolved. I think that obviously we were a part of that as well, the team and myself. And it's been. I mean, yes, I remember a lot of these things. That's interesting.
Oh, wow.
That's interesting. Yeah, that used to fly to Tangier. So yeah, I mean, I actually in the first part of my career before I went off to the UK to study, and at the same time as I was also working for the Ministry of Defence. I mean, I worked for many years as well at the Caleta Hotel, which we were also reminiscing about before. And so I worked there I worked in the reception. And
that would have been what, sort of post-closed border years?
No, yeah, that was the mid to late 80s. And so I did, a lot of things, and I learned from a lot of people, a lot of wonderful professionals there, and sort of I saw, how tourism was working in the late 80s, after the border had opened. And then, of course, I saw it through professionally as well for many years till 2021. And then I decided that I wanted a change of direction, so I became a consultant. And, you mentioned one of the things before that I now do. I actually do two things. So I work for an association called MedCruise, and MedCruise is the Association of Mediterranean Cruise Ports. And we represent, this year, going to be over 170 ports in the Mediterranean, the Black Sea, the Red Sea, the Atlantic, as well. And we have 58 or 59 associate members as well. And Gibraltar has been a member of MedCruise almost since the very beginning, and also a company from Gibraltar called MH Bland have been associate members also from the very beginning. So we, played a big part in the sort of the history of MedCruise, which is now going to be 30. And so we're celebrating in Palermo coming up now in June, the 30th anniversary of the association. So we've been there, and I sort of started going to this representing Gibraltar about 25 years ago. Then I was on the board of directors, and now I work as their Secretary General. And then, as you said before, there's an international cruise summit that takes place in Madrid every November, and I also help to organize that. So that keeps me very busy.
That is a busy week, Nicky.
Really busy.
How do you have the same amount of hours in the week as we do? Because
you are technically you're retired. Technically you're retired.
Yeah, technically.
Really? You must be the busiest retiree
I
ever.
did technically retire, but
this is what retirement looks like.
Avito, ask him.
La gente retira hace mucho.
That's my idea of retirement.
Pero tu retirement, que yo escucho, no retirement de este hombre. Yo estoy escuchando, me estoy cansando ya de escuchar a Nicky de hablar de su retired job.
Yo estoy seguro que dice que era more hours in the day. Yo no sé the time, pero tú sabes.
I know you're quite active as well. So. Nice shirt, by the way. I've got one the same.
Muchas gracias. Can we advertise it? Mejor dame un discount la siguiente vez que vayamos.
You know what? I actually thought when I wanted to change the direction that I was going to take a couple of years off. And after 6 months...
It didn't even get to 6 months, no?
Ahora, Nicky,
The epitome
if
of
I
workaholic.
may just detract, lo que pasa when you retire, certainly from my experience, was that I retired from work and I thought, I've got to do something, ¿vale? And I thought of 2 or 3 things to do. 10 years later, I haven't started any of those 3 things, but my life has moved in different directions.
Yeah.
Well, there's still time, isn't there?
I don't think I could retire y no sé nada.
Speaking of still time, one of your sort of passion projects alongside tourism, which was obviously your career, was stage production. When we were talking about the fabulous Nightmare in El Museo in part 1. No stranger to the stage yourself.
No, it's one of my passions. It really has always been since I was very little, and continues to be. The problem is, of course, that time is an element that something I don't really have a lot of. but it was interesting listening to you talk before, because when I was always in school plays and things like this when I was little and stuff. But then, you go into your teens and you start to get a little bit shy. And I was actually, believe it or not, believe it. And so I've told this story many times before. A lot of people would have listened to this. But I was in the playground in Bayside, and my drama teacher, Mr. Perez, who was a wonderful, wonderful teacher, came up to me and said, I think I was 14 or 15, and said, Guerrero, you will be in a play for the drama festival. And no choice, So,
No.
And of course,
Lionel Perez was not somebody who could say no too easily.
So I said, of course, I said yes, sir. And then, then I got involved in that. And I think how it helped me when I was in my teens was that, you were talking about this rapport with the audience and how you feel this thing. So you suddenly put on this stage when you're 14 with 400 people there, and you've got to make them laugh or make them cry or make them sort of, and that when you realize, that you can actually do that and probably do it quite well. I've never been one to blow my own trumpet, but now
now you're allowed.
I'm allowed, exactly. That's a good way of putting it. I thought, okay, there's something here that I can do well, and it fills you with so much confidence. And
that bleeds into everyday life, not just on stage.
Exactly, because you gain skills as well from that. Then I had the privilege of working with a lot of wonderful actors and directors and people who taught me a lot as well. And then, of course, you gain all the skills, the technical stuff that the theatre gives you, which then, having to speak in public for most of my life, and I still do.
Youngest ever winner of Best Actor.
I didn't know this. That's
Your
good
sister
research.
told me,
My
so-
sister. It's true.
Proud sister.
Yeah, we see, that was true. And but
18 at the time.
I was 18. Yeah, I was 18, and then I went on to to do that a couple of times more, believe it or not. But I and I was involved with some wonderful casts and groups and winners of the festival, and of course you learn as well when you're doing all these plays. Some amazing plays that I've taken part in. Janito plays as well. Some of Elio Cruz's plays. I was La Lola se va pa' Londres and Connie con Camera no Comedor.
Nicky, what are we seeing?
Oh, there you go. I think this is Connie con Camera no Comedor. Yeah, that's it. Yes, it's true. Oh, no, this is not. This is La Lola se va pa' Londres. That's why it made me out to look a little bit old.
La Lola se va pa' Londres.
Wonderful plays.
Talking about the Gibraltarian identity, no?
Yeah.
Cosa como Nightmare en el Museo, las obras de Elio Cruz, Nemesio Mosquera, and all those things, those are the things that we need to keep the Llanito identity alive.
Oh, those plays were a wonderful way of doing that as well. They were very of the time, and can still, I think, maybe even still be done today, and sort of. But that was also great fun, So I did a whole range of stuff, very serious, classic stuff, to comedies, to farce, to play these wonderful plays that were so beautifully written as well. And, look at the cast. People who were just incredible actors.
This was actually the first Janito play, what we're watching here.
Really?
That was I think Connie was maybe yes, La Lola was the first one. Wow. And this is the third time that it was produced, if my memory serves me correctly. So the original was in the...
Any chance of a return to stage, Mayor?
Probably.
Yeah?
Yeah.
If we can find a few more hours for him about it.
Maybe next year. Yeah, I'd love to. Of course, I think that like everybody who has a passion or a hobby, you never stop loving that. You always do. And of course, I'd love to do it. So, anybody out there who's got a part they think I might be good to.
I'll have a word with Nathan and Mike.
We do need to establish how many aviation books do you have at home?
I've lost count. Maybe over 300.
Really?
So I've been collecting books. Yeah. Of aviation.
All read?
Absolutely, cover to cover, and sometimes reread.
No.
Yeah. This is a passion of mine since I was little. So my grandmother's dining room table was an airport. We lived in the same house, you know. So, exactly. Avioncito, the die-cast ones. And I would make my own little airport and then take off and run down the corridor. That was a flight and come back and do all the announcements.
And you never became a pilot?
No, I know. I mean, I thought about it, but yeah, maybe I could have done that. Maybe in another life, I don't know. But yeah, it's another passion, which I mean, and actually nowadays it's great because if you are, interested in any hobby, you've got all the wonderful stuff online that you can see.
Oh yeah.
Etc. So it makes hobbies, So yeah, that's over 300 books I reckon. I don't buy so many books anymore. Because obviously, less paper and all this, but I can get them online. So
this is something Kindle as well.
Yeah. Nothing will ever beat the feel of a book for me. I can't get into the whole Kindle
online.
thing.
It stresses me out.
That's why I read them now.
The feel and the smell. The smell of the books.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
Artina has been in touch just to say hi to Nicky.
Thank you.
We miss you, Tini.
Legend.
Hi, Tini.
Nicky, it's nearly time to go. I feel like we've got to know you a little better, but we just have one more trick up our sleeve to hopefully get to know you a little bit better. So are you ready?
Anda, apagón.
The P word.
10 quick fire questions. Okay. Mayor, Nicky Guerrero. Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Stage production or TV and film?
Stage production.
City break or rural getaway?
City break.
Window or aisle seats?
Always aisle.
Really?
Yeah.
Most used app on your phone? WhatsApp does not count.
Flight Radar 24.
Of course, I should have known. Favorite local beach?
Because it was my childhood beach, Sandy Bay. Yeah.
You've got one musician to listen to for the rest of your life. Who are you choosing?
One musician to listen to for the rest of my life. Oh my God, that means singer as well. And yeah. I would probably say Luther Vandross. Yeah.
And lastly, describe yourself in one word.
Describe myself. Generous.
Okay.
Generous.
Mayor Nicky Guerrero, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Been my pleasure. Thank you as well.
Appreciate
really
it.
Good. Yeah.
And guys, to you too.
The end.
I'm gonna try and do this. Keep myself together.
Oof.
I hate to say it, but that is it. It feels like 10 minutes ago, actually, that we said hi to artist Christian Hook, our very first guest of the season. And over the past 6 months, we've moaned. Boy, have we moaned.
Have we?
Bueno, yo estoy negativo aquí, yo. Me la pusieron hace tiempo.
We've laughed. We have laughed.
No when we're here.
Oh.
And we've cried. A true reflection of the Gibraltarian spirit. To every guest and contributor who sat on this sofa, every viewer who tuned in, and everyone who shared their thoughts and stories, thank you for being part of the conversation. City Pulse returns after the summer con que te den September si Dios quiere. Good night.
Bye, people.